this guy is awesome. And he said, yeah, you can look at anything. Gorgeous Superliner, like absolutely gorgeous Superliner.
I also own a farm.
Here we go. You are now watching the 2024 season of Farming with Duffy Ag. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, for the people who always say I should paint my garage. It's been like this for 15 years. So I think we're okay for a little bit longer. But alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Pickup is running. It is chilly, it is windy out. And we got some Mack goodies. So PAI, panel assembly, we got some more PAI, we got some from Rainey's. I think that's from PAI again. We got all the goods. So we're missing a few things on the Mack, and that is why the pickup's running right now. We found one thing that we need. Well, we half needed to modify. Somebody probably knows what I'm talking about. But feed the calves, and we're gonna roll west a little bit, and I think the guy we're gonna go see is probably pretty cool. So we're getting Mack parts. But alrighty, I'm excited for this, that, and I'm excited to have the Mack further along. That is the goal of today, and closer to paint. Granted, we're supposed to get into the lows of like 5 degrees, so staying warm in the shop's gonna be a little bit challenging, but we got some body work to do, we got some prep work to do, paint, we got some motor work. Well, finish up buttoning that side of it up, but appreciate you guys watching along, and let's get after it. Are we staying warm today, guys? Yeah? You guys want a little bit of hay too? So, as we know previously, we put these bales in here and they're actually eating through it pretty good. I've just been giving them hay daily. So we got a whole bale here. That is a bedding bale, which once we get through this, probably pull this out, bed with it, and we'll put another bale here, and so on and so on. Not the best way of doing it. We gotta get a feeder cart or something, because see, some of it stays on the ground, they make a mess, but that's going back in. Well, when we scrape and we spread it all back out, that'll get back spread on the ground. So yeah, I need like a little feed trough or something. I could do it over there, and but then they push it out of the way here. They make a little bit of a mess, but at least they eat a lot more of it, and it's not restricted. So your hay's ready. Norman, you are looking good. Same with Michael in Damascus, but alrighty. We gotta go on a little quick road trip. You guys gonna hold the fort down? Yeah? Good talk. Road trip time, bud. You excited? You thrilled? You pumped? Alrighty. Something that previously, well, as far as safety and being able to make sure you're in a good spot when you're driving, dash cams. And I had a company hit me up. I don't know if they're the best. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do some things, but I thought it was pretty neat. So VFO hit me up with a A229 Pro. It's 4K. It has an optional rear or inside the cabin, and then it has the driver's facing one, and of course it's got the front. So right now I got it hooked up in the truck. We're gonna give it a trial run and see how we like it. Ideally, yes, the pickup goes around a bunch, but ideally semi is where it's gonna go, because people love to cut out in front of semis. So right now it is actually hooked up, and we got it. Oh, it's taking a picture. So it is recording. This is the cabin or rear facing ones. As I said, you can put 2 different ones on it, and they're just suction cup. I did not mount this one because as I said, I want to take that out and put it in the semi and really use it, but I figured for this ride I'd throw it in there and we'll see how it goes. So I'll drop a link down below, but we'll talk about it later on if I like it. It's got a memory card in it, and pretty convenient, small, easy. We'd have to run the cord differently, so it's not in the way as we're driving, stuff like that. But appreciate them asking me to give this a try and showcase it to you guys. Yeah, park mode, GPS logging, front and rear, interior. That's what the second camera, interior. Built-in Wi-Fi, voice control and notification. So, alrighty, let's get going. It was pretty clear sailing, and all of a sudden a storm came out of nowhere, and yeah, not really plowing much road there, bud, but good try. So we were making good time at, doing the speed limit, and now we're doing 30 and a 55. So that might slow us down a little bit. So I'm here for an air cleaner, and I will show you guys that in a minute. This guy is awesome, and he said, yeah, you can look at it, anything. Gorgeous Superliner, like absolutely gorgeous Superliner. This truck he's never actually run on the road since new. He's a Mack guy. If you look at the frame, like absolutely insane. So basically brand new truck. Life goals, not many V8s, he said, because they're expensive, and 350s, 300 or 350 is just as good. He's got a 300 in a Mack that he runs daily in the front shop. This is a 53 that came out of the West Coast. And then this also came from California, single axle, like Manteca? I don't know, probably said that all wrong. Very, very cool. I said, you want to show me the rest of it? So he has snowmobiles, for racing snowmobiles, that he's been flipping around, and he sold some to the owner of Grassland. I think he still is the owner. I don't think there's a director board or whatnot. Grassland in Wisconsin, like sleds that are worth big, rare, like $25,000 snowmobile sleds from the 70s and whatnot, 70s, 80s. But figured I'd show you guys this, and we'll see what else he lets me videotape. So much cool. So this has a 300 4-valve. He gave me some tips on getting the power out of them. Someday. That's what I need. Someday. I just asked him about cabs. He said, nope, they're holding on to it. He knows Mack parts are rare, so that's got a V8 in it.
I sold a couple cabs I had. They're really nice.
And you can never get them again. Because I cut my parts cab out and redid all that. Since finding that.
This guy had knives in the back on 3-point hitch kind of.
Yep.
And he had a big septic tank on it, and he used to knife the waste right in the ground.
Huh.
That's why he had a V8 with a 12-speed.
With all the power.
See, that's got that heat going. Yeah. It stormed that is a cabin trail. It's cleaned out the cabin.
And pulled it back. That's lucky that it didn't land right on it or something. Got a cat in it. It's yeah. That is sharp though. That's neat. Sorts of cool stuff.
No rock.
You said 3406?
3406B, yeah.
I love it. Someday. So this one and the one in the shop, one serial number apart.
I had no rust on it.
You ever get some West Coast Superliners?
I had them.
What were your thoughts on those? I stopped filming our conversation there because I was focused on the truck and really didn't think about explaining what I asked about West Coast Superliners. So, if you don't know, I guess there was technically 4 plants at one point creating our models and Superliners. Allentown, which if you ask Zach Newton, that is the dog pound, the official dog pound of the Mack truck. So, when I was younger, we actually toured the whole assembly line. They were building pump trucks that day, or they were building a pump truck that day that finished when we were there. That was very impressive. That would have been a long, long time ago. I bet it was 20 years ago. So, Allentown, PA, which my truck was built in Allentown, PA on September 24th, 1974. So, pretty honored by that. That is why there's a big Mack culture around Allentown, PA. And I actually got my truck 20 miles from Allentown, PA. So, it's pretty cool. It didn't live its whole life there. It came up to Syracuse and then went back down to Pennsylvania. You have the Canadian plant. Well, 2 of them. What was it? Queensway was the first one in 64. And then they moved to... Oakville. I'm gonna have to look that up now. Queensway was built in 64, and Oakville was in 66 due to capacity. The Canadian ones have cool trucks, like the spread Canadian axles, so you can fit floaters underneath it, stuff like that, which is... They got some sweet stuff out of Canada. I would love a spread axle Mack at some point. It just makes putting floater tires really, really nice underneath it. And then you had the West Coast plant. And the West Coast plant built some cool stuff. But as far as where the Superliners came in, and Zach was the first one that really notified us when we went to the auction a month ago, me, Brad, and Isaiah, with that Superliner. That was a West Coast Superliner. And they actually kind of pieced together trucks based on older parts they had. So there was no common thing between one truck to the next. And they put the steering box on the front axle. Not on I don't think on everyone, but it was weird stuff like that makes a West Coast Superliner a huge pain when you go to fix it, when you go to get parts, because nothing was similar on any of it. So the Allentown Macks, Allentown Superliners are a Mack, and they were built for that purpose, or built on its own premises, I guess, on it. And I'm saying all the wrong words right now, but it is late. It is 11:30 and I'm editing this video. Holy smokes, guys. So yeah, Allentown Superliners, right on. West Coast Superliners, everybody I know that's a Mack guy, and I would not have known a year ago what to look for on a Superliner, and probably could have got ourselves in some serious trouble if I had bought a Superliner, because you see some go cheap, and there's a reason why they're cheap or stuff like that. So, and as far as the V8s, if you do not know, if it is a V8 E9 Mack, you can put a Cat or a Cummins into it. And I know there's people that say, why would you ever do that? As that gentleman said, he said a set of rings for an E9 Mack, just the rings, is $3,800. You can't get rebuild kits for them. You can't get many parts at all. Manifolds, all that stuff, that's all gone because they didn't build many of them. So that's why if it is a V8, an E9 Mack, to rebuild the motor, 50 grand, if you can get the parts. But at the end of the day, you can swap it out because the frame rails are correct to put a bigger motor in. But what I've learned from the guys at Global, if you take an E7 mechanical, 420 what are they, 425, 427. You can make as much power for a lot cheaper than any of those big motors, and they'll run with them, he said. So very curious on that. Aaron and Isaiah's Superliner there, that's a 350, and as this gentleman says, he had a few V8s, a few with cats in them, and then everything else was a 300 or 350, and he said he liked the 300s or the 350s a lot better. You just needed to know how to drive them. So a little rundown on the background of some of the Mack stuff, because some people don't know and I don't know everything, so it's cool. As that gentleman said, he said, if you don't pass on your knowledge, it's useless, because the next generation's you're never gonna have it, and it's gone. So I agree with that. There's a lot of older generation, a lot of wise people out there that know a lot more stuff that when it's gone, when they're gone, it's gone. So I like the older stuff. So yeah, but alrighty, we'll keep going with this. This is quite the well, cold storage.
Well, eventually you can.
Make it right into a shop.
Well, my brother, what he does is he just fills them up with junk, and then he just keeps on migrating to another shop. Not cleaning them out, he just keeps on building another.
You never got enough room. Never enough storage.
Got brand new frames, Mack frames.
This was the white one?
No.
A different one. That's cool.
Original frames.
See, it goes back to the pinstriping.
That's the gross pinstripe job.
Oh shit. I love it. That have a V8 in it?
Yep.
You run it with the singles, or is it just?
No.
I was gonna say.
Just to hold it up.
Yeah. That is crazy. That's so much cool. What's
Steel
that?
Dash.
Yeah, I was gonna say
66 or 7.
the one I looked at in Pennsylvania was a 68, and somebody had put a 13 speed in it.
It's
It had a
the
J.
factory's one in it.
See, somebody swapped that out, but it was short, and I was like, I don't know if I want that much work.
What wheels on it?
Really? Huh. I didn't know that was an option at the time. Yep. That's clean too.
That is.
Smokes.
It's got the flat back.
Yep. Because in 73, they changed the cab.
Yeah, big fat.
A little more. That's everybody's complaint. Oh, there's no room in the R model cabs. I don't know.
You want to die.
Here's another one. Holy shit. So I made this. We got some corn still standing over there. But I made this little pack to myself that when I come across a Mack person, somebody who has Mack parts, I go see them. As far as if I'm getting parts or if I'm getting parts for somebody, because two years ago I made a mistake and I had a friend grab a cross member for my buddy Bobby Seidel, and turns out the guy that sold the cross member to my friend was a collector and had like chain drive Macks and all done up, and I never got to see that person. So the fact that I showed up here for this air cleaner, granted I was an hour, it took me about 2 hours to get out here, a little less. We're right on the other side of Andy Horgan's farm. I was talking to him earlier and he goes, yep, I know them. So it's a small world, but the fact that he took the time out of his day to show me around and let me video that, like, oh, it's just normal stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, I think you guys enjoy some of the older stuff like that. And he had a ton, all the parts and everything else like that, but that's part of keeping the older trucks going and everything else. but they were very sharp and very orientated. And I met his brother there that does most of the construction side, I think, which was cool. So he's looking for a motor as well. It just makes for a small world. So I appreciate the Smiths there. Well, one, having the air cleaner that I've been looking for. I haven't looked that hard, but the fact it showed up and it was so close, had to go get it. So, and it was priced nice. Otherwise, I was gonna mess around with the air cleaner I have that has broken bolts in the bottom, and they did all sorts of weird stuff to it, and we're gonna switch the tops, but otherwise, we're good to go. So, I'm gonna jump back and we'll get some wrenching done. We're rolling up 20 here, and we got Casanova equipment and Casanova. That H&S silage trailer's still there. Got a dump cart back there. Got all sorts of goodies. So, figure we probably should get back and get some project done today, but that silage trailer would look pretty slick. It's been there a while. Well, we were close enough. I figured we had to stop in and see Sean. You excited? Plus, you ain't gonna want it to party it up. So he's had a boring day. So we're gonna see Sean, and yeah, might be the end of our day. Took a little bit of time to get home between some weather and some stops, but this is what we got. So we have a R model, 2 intake, which we need the 2 intake for what we're doing, such as this. You see it's offset just a little bit. They're a little bit longer, which isn't a bad thing. Issues I had with this, well, we have some surface rust spots that are actually pretty bad. These are, as we see, bad. They self-tapered through this at some point because they broke some pieces. And yeah, it was just gonna be quite a bit of work. So finding a outlet, I guess. See, we got some rust there. Finding a 2 outlet that is in halfway decent shape, bottom not rusted out, stuff like this. I forget if I looked at the bottom of this. Oh, we got a little bit of surface rust. Missing quite a bit of things. They bolted through it. So this is very good. The top's different. Good thing we got 2 good tops that can go on them. And we needed the 2 because of the twin tip turbine intake. So pick this up for a third of the price of what I could find a used one. Well, honestly, you can't even find a used 2. Usually they're just the 1. And I guess we could cut out 1 and do stuff. But I went this route, found this one, had a great time. Appreciate Dan showing me around. And it is absolutely freezing in here. I bet it's like 9 degrees. Might be colder. Holy. So, we're gonna mess with this, get it prepped for paint. This is gonna be red. Yeah, we were gonna have to prep this one anyways. This one is much better shape. I'm sure when we start doing things, we were gonna find more problems, but I wanted everything intact, and he made it happen. So we'll get this prepped tomorrow for paint. We got some other things we got to paint. And I'll show you guys tomorrow as far as what we're doing, but I'm going in. It is late and I am freezing cold now. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.